You are in Barbados. I'm in Barbados? Nah, I'm in Dubai. As you can see, if you can see the back of me, there is the Atlantis Hotel. That's the most luxury hotel in Dubai, right there in the back. So no, I'm not in Barbados, but I'm in Dubai. And Dubai is actually my Barbados, if you know what I mean. If you don't know, you want to stick around because I'm going to be sharing with you how I've applied the law of assumption technique that is even more powerful than law of attraction that led me to manifest my dream life in Dubai. And now I'm living here. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm tuning in from a hotel, a 5-star hotel called Anatara on the Palms in Dubai, which is on a man-made island. It's pretty incredible. And as I was just sitting here admiring the view and just, really grateful, appreciating my life, I was reflecting upon how I got here, how I got to living my dream life in Dubai. You see, it was no coincidence. I created this life, not by luck, but by design. And I want to share with you how you too can create your dream life and whatever that may be for you. It could be in Dubai, it could be anywhere in the world. Once you understand this concept and apply certain laws. So I want to talk about one of my favorite authors, Neville Goddard, and the law of assumption. So if you're new to his teaching, Neville Goddard was a 20th century metaphysical teacher who pioneered this concept called law of assumption, which is even more powerful than the law of attraction. And I'm going to get into how the law works. And one of Neville's most well-known lectures is called You Are in Barbados, where he shared a personal story of how he demonstrated using his imagination by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled of him being in Barbados. When this happened, he was actually in New York. How it led to this manifestation of him ended up being in Barbados. And I know maybe some of you might be thinking, Amy, I don't want to go to Barbados. I don't want to go to Dubai. You see, Barbados was Neville's desired outcome. And for me, a year ago, before moving to Dubai was my desired outcome. I wanted to move here. I didn't know how to make this happen, right? So you can replace Barbados with whatever desire you want, whether it's manifesting a specific person, or it's money, or clients, or a certain outcome that it is, whatever it is. Okay, so I'm gonna also be giving you a quick summary of the You Are in Barbados lecture. For those of you who may not heard of the lecture or the story yet. And I'm gonna be sharing with you my own personal experience of how I applied the law and how I manifested to me moving from California to other side of the world to now living in Dubai. And you want to stick around because I'm going to be breaking it down, the law of assumption technique, step by step for you. So you can effectively apply the law and manifest your desires. Let's get into it. All right, guys, we're back inside. It was just too hot outdoor. Right now, it's summer in Dubai. It's like super hot. So anyways, I'm back here with my baby, Mojo. All right, so let me give you a quick summary of Neville's story, You Are in Barbados. So Neville was a dancer living in New York City at the time, and he wanted to visit his family in Barbados for Christmas. And this is where he grew up originally from. He was originally from Barbados. And it was during the Great Depression. So there was nobody paying to see dancers, so he was out of a job. He had absolutely no money and therefore no means of getting to Barbados. And so he went to his friend Abdullah, which turned out to be his mentor later on, and he told Abdullah that he wanted to go to Barbados. And Abdullah told him, "You are in Barbados," and told him to see himself in Barbados already in his imagination. So what Neville did, he went home, and that night, before falling asleep, in a state akin to sleep, which is called sets. It's something that was coined by Neville Goddard himself, which we can interpret to the state of what we call a theta state. This is where your mind is most suggestible to suggestion. And he visualized himself sleeping on his childhood bed in Barbados. He visualized himself walking down the streets and imagined himself in Barbados. And he did this every night for the next month. Although I think this was around October, and nothing happened for the month of November. Nothing in his 3D, in his physical world changed. So then what happened is he went back to Abdullah, and this was, I think, December 2nd. And he went to Abdullah and said, you see, Christmas, because he wanted to be there for Christmas, I think the last ship, at the time there was no flights. So they would take by boat. The last ship was leaving in 2 days. So he was trying to tell Abdullah, how am I going to be in Barbados when, there's nothing around me physically? It changed. What happened to Neville was he got caught up on the how, right? How it was going to happen, because in his mind, he didn't have the means, he didn't have the money. So how was he gonna get to Barbados? And when he had this conversation with Abdullah, this is what Abdullah did. He said, who told you you're going to Barbados? You are in Barbados. You cannot discuss how you're going to get to Barbados when you are already in Barbados. And then he turned around and he slammed the door on Neville. And that night, Neville continued his visualization. He would imagine himself sleeping on his childhood bed in Barbados. So geographically, he would sense himself in the bed in Barbados, and he would see New York as northwest of him. You see? And guess what? Within 48 hours, 2 days, he got a letter from his brother sending him $50 at the time. That I think it's a lot of money, right? To get him to buy some new clothes, and also he already paid for a first class steamship ticket to get Neville from New York to Barbados to celebrate Christmas with their family. Okay? And what Neville did, he went to the steamship dock and told them that, okay, so now I have this ticket. And then he found out that there was actually no first class available on his first leg. It would be available on the second leg. And then he went to Abdullah and he was trying to tell him, hey, it worked. I'm going to Barbados, but I'm not going first class. He was trying to tell him that. And then what happened? Abdullah said the same thing to Neville. Who said you're going to Barbados? You have already gone to Barbados and you have traveled first class. And then he went ahead and slammed the door on Neville again. So that night, Neville again did the same thing. He just visualized himself traveling first class, going to Barbados. Next day, it was December 6th, which is a significant day, that he went to the steamship and found out that he had been upgraded to first class. There you have it. That was a quick summary of the You Are in Barbados story. I'm gonna go ahead and link a video down below where you can hear Neville sharing his own story during one of his lectures on a different YouTube channel. And I want to break it down for you how law of assumption technique really works, step by steps, so you can learn and apply it into your life and you can manifest your desires. Let's get into it. Step 1. Clearly define your desired outcome. You want to be specific of what it is that you want to manifest. Whether it's a certain amount of money or number of clients or sales, or you want to manifest a trip like Barbados or Dubai. or you want to manifest a certain circumstances. You see, so in Neville's case, he wanted to manifest going to Barbados even though he didn't have the means for it. And in my goal, in my situation, I wanted to manifest to be in Dubai. So I didn't know how I was going to make it happen, because I didn't know what I needed to be able to live and work in Dubai. I didn't know what type of visa I needed. And not only for me, I also needed to get my baby. I also needed to import him. So I didn't know about any of the requirements, and I didn't want to get caught up with that. I just know that I was going to be living in Dubai with my baby, and that was my desired outcome. So you want to write down what is your specific outcome that you want. And remember, you got to be specific. Step 2, construct an end scene. What images would you see that would imply that your desire is already fulfilled? What images would you see if you were already with your specific person? Or if you had already had the money in the bank? Or if you already had the dream job? I talk a lot about this on this channel, the importance of clear mental images. The more vivid the images that you have, the clearer the signal that you're sending to your subconscious mind. And in Neville's case, what he did was he was visualizing seeing himself sleeping in his childhood bed and seeing his bedroom. He also imagined himself walking down the streets in Barbados. And that's exactly what I did. I did the same thing. Before knowing how I was going to come to Dubai, I would literally sleep on my bed in California, and I would visualize myself geographically not in California, because again, that's thinking of the end. So if I was in California and I'm thinking about Dubai, you see the geographic location, it's different. So even though I was physically sleeping in my bed in California, but when in my imagination, I was imagining myself feeling from the Middle East, because Dubai is in the Middle East, and I was feeling that California, to me, California was on the right side. And I would close my eyes and I would visualize myself in my bedroom here in Dubai, right? Because at the time I had already imagine what my bedroom would look like. I didn't have a bedroom at the time, but it's a bedroom, right? So then I would close my eyes and I would visualize, going in bed and then feeling my dog Mojo next to me, right? Like how he would sleep next to me normally. And I will also visualize myself walking him, right? Because those are the end scenes that would represent us living in Dubai. So I would do that at night when we're about to go to sleep. And remember, this is the state, the theta state, where your mind is is most suggestible to images. Okay, so make sure you have clear mental images that will represent your desired outcome. Step 3, living in the ends with emotions. So at night, before you drift out to bed in the drowsy state, right, in the theta state, this is when you are entering into a state akin to sleep. Again, sets, where you're deeply relaxed, but you're still conscious. And this is when you want to visualize, bring out the images of your desires, combining with assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. How would you feel if your wishes are already fulfilled? You want to make it real by play the scenes in your mind and fully immerse yourself, including the 5 senses. What would you see, hear, smell, taste, touch? I created the 30-day visualization challenge all around the 5 senses. So make sure you check that out. So going back to the state akin to sleep, you want to make sure you have the emotional connection. You want to feel and experience when your desires are already realized. So you want to write down at least 3 emotions. How would you feel when you are actually, again, with your SP, or actually having the money,
or whatever it is that you want. And you want to live from the end. And this involves imagining and feeling you already achieve your desire. And Neville also has another article. It's called Feeling is the Secret. You really want to tap into the feeling, because when you tap into the feeling, you align yourself with the reality where your desire is manifested. It is done. Step 4, faith and persistence. One of the common questions I get from my clients when they're visualizing their goals and dreams is, Amy, how long should I visualize for? Should I visualize a day, a week, a month? And this is what I tell them. You visualize until you have your desires. Then you don't have to do it anymore. You see, even in Neville's case, what he did it every night for 1 month before he went to Barbados. I don't remember how long I did it for, but I know that I did it until it manifested. You want to maintain the faith. You want to trust in the process that universe is working its magic for you in the back end, even if you don't see it, even if the current reality, the circumstances contradicts your desires. Neville had a quote is, imaginal acts become facts. That's real. What you're imagining will harden into facts, but you gotta persist in your assumption. That is very crucial, regardless of the outer circumstances, the 3D world. For example, the 3D world is gonna tell you how you're gonna do that, right? So in Neville's case, on the outside, the circumstances in the 3D world, there's no way how he was gonna manifest a trip to Barbados because he had no means of doing so. However, he ended up manifesting to Barbados. So I'll give you a quick story about what happened. So before going to Dubai, I realized my passport expired. So I actually had to renew my passport. And I think I was leaving in like a month. And I went to the postal office in California, and I said I needed to rush the passport because I'm leaving in a month and a half. And they told me even with rush, it's gonna take 90 days. So I went to one post office, and this is what they told me. So initially when they told me this, and I was like, oh man, but I'm leaving in a month and a half. But I remember Neville's teachings. I gotta reject the ideas that's contrary to what I want. So I rejected the idea, and I ended up going to another postal office, and I asked them, and they told me the same thing, that it was going to take 90 days. So I was like, okay, no, I'm going to get it because I was leaving. I'm going to get it before I leave. So what I did was every night I would visualize me going to the mail. So I would collect the mail, and I would see an envelope, a big envelope of my passport. So I was doing that for about, I think, 2 weeks or so. And then on the third week, what happened was I received my passport in the mail within 3 weeks, when people were telling me it's gonna take 3 months. And what was so interesting was that my mom actually came to me, and she said one of her friends also wanted to renew her passport, and they told them the same thing, like it was gonna take 3 months, and it's been 2 months or so, and she was still waiting. So my mom asked me, how did you get it so fast? And I was laughing in my mind, I'm like, even if I told you what I did, right? So this thing works. And not only it applies to my situation, same thing with my baby Mojo. So when I wanted to, bring him here, I needed to import him. And then there were a lot of documents, and I needed to get shots and certify. It was a lot of work. Okay, so what I found out also, a month and a half before we were about to leave, I found out that I needed to get his rabies shot, which I have gotten a long time ago, but I needed to get it certified and send it to the government and things like that. And that was gonna take up to 90 days. Oh my God, can you imagine me? One minute I was focusing on my passport, and then on the other side I was trying to make sure that he also has the correct documents so he can fly. So I rejected the idea that it was going to take 90 days. So, and then I just visualized me getting a letter from the vet, in an email. So that's what I would visualize, me opening my email, and I would see the email says, here's your certificate. And thank God, within 3 weeks or so, right before we're about to leave, maybe a week before, literally, okay? So it was really up like towards the end, but I had to persist. I had the faith. I mean, what else could I have done, right? So, and I'm so glad and grateful that I had this knowledge that I was able to apply it. So we ended up obviously getting the certificate right before we leave. So persist in the unseen and reject any ideas or anything that's in the 3D world that's contrary to what you want. Okay, that is very, very important. That's step 4. Step 5, let go of the how and trust the process. I think this is one of the hardest part in the whole manifestation process because people tend to get caught up on the how, right? So in the process of manifesting their desires, they get bogged down of how I'm going to make that happen, especially if they don't have the circumstances, if they don't have the money, if they don't have the time. And that's why I love when Abdullah told Neville, who told you you're going to Barbados? You are already in Barbados. And you cannot discuss how you're going to get to Barbados because you are already there, you see. So I know a lot of times when on the way of manifestation, they like to talk about how am I going to get there? You won't know the how. And it's not your job to know the how. It's your job to know, to feed your subconscious mind the end results that you want. You see, so you wanted to forget about the how and the when and let universe construct the sequences for you. So you want to be detached and you want to be open, be receptive to receive the answers from the universe. And using the law of assumption, you must detach from your current reality and you must focus on the desired state as if it's already true. So like I said, even in your physical world, maybe it's contrary to what you want, you gotta reject it, okay? And then stay persistent until your manifestations comes true. There you have it. Let me know if you like content like these, where I break down the manifestation steps into easy, digestible, simple steps that you can apply. Also, let me know if you like to see more contents where I share about Neville's teaching. His teachings and lectures sometimes can be quite deep. That's why I like to dissect them and make it easy to understand. So remember, you are already in Barbados. You are already living your dream life. You're just letting the unfoldment to happen. I did a video last week about the 5 common mistakes that you must avoid doing visualization, which will help you to get clarity on how to create the correct images. Okay, that will help you with the law of assumption. I'll see you there next.